Hi, welcome to another episode of the Leadership Talk Show. I'm Johnny Zielinski. I will be your host for today, singular, and this is Alex Leverett, consultant at the Vested Group. Alex, how are you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Appreciate you joining us today. Let's go ahead and just jump right in. How did you end up at the Vested Group?
That is a great question. Actually, my first job out of college, I was an employee benefits specialist, and TVG was actually one of my clients.
Really?
So, yeah. So I basically processed everyone's, like, any new hires or any life changes, like, with medical, dental, vision changes and stuff like that. And so I did that for about 2 years, and then I went into accounting afterwards, and so I joined a hedge fund in Dallas. Did that for about almost a year as well. And of course, Ashley and Janelle both work at TVG. They're my cousins. And Ashley had reached out and said, hey, we're hiring, would you be interested in being a consultant at TVG? And I was a little weary. I was just like, I haven't really been in my current role for a year yet, so I was a little weary, like going into NetSuite, and we used NetSuite in my role at the time. And so I actually declined the offer, like, to meet with JPO. And then about a month later, Ashley reached back out and was like, we're still hiring. Like, come talk to her. Just see what you think. So I was like, you know what? All right, fine. Like, I'll go in. And I talked with JPO, and one interview turned into 3 more, and then next thing I knew, 2 weeks later, I was hired. I was starting at TVG.
We have family members within the company. I mean, even our founder, we have his daughter. We definitely don't shy away from hiring family. So when I heard we had another Janelle, Ashley, family member coming in, I was like, nice, just the more.
Yeah, and JPO says that if Ashley and Janelle had a baby, it would be me. I'm a perfect mix of both of them. So I was like, great.
I love that. So I guess up to that point, tell us about your family, siblings and parents, and did you grow up around here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, so my mom is actually from Mexico, and my dad is from El Paso, and so a lot of people don't know that I'm half Mexican, just because I look more like my dad. I have 2 older sisters, but I always said I grew up with 5 sisters, Ashley, Janelle, and Monica, just because we're all super close, and we grew up together every summer and stuff like that. So I always say I had 5 sisters, and I have 5 nephews. And I grew up in Allen, Texas. I went to school at UTD, and then I now live in Dallas.
You grew up in Allen?
I did.
Did you go to Allen or Lovejoy? Or?
I went to Allen High School.
You went to Allen High School? What was your graduating class like?
It was about 1,400 kids in 2014.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did you know most of them or no?
No. I could probably meet a new person every single day for the whole entire 4 years and still not even grazed.
I think we graduated with 500, and I knew most of them, but
the graduation went by really fast. I mean, they were
I
just calling out those names.
How long did it last?
I would say 3 hours.
That's actually pretty good.
Right, I feel so.
So they were just flying.
Yeah, literally, valedictorian speech, start just naming everybody.
Thank you, and they're like, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. I need to maybe just. There has to be a record for that. 1,400 kids in 3 hours. So how would you describe what you do as a consultant at the Vested Group? If somebody asks you, what do you do? What would you say?
So I get this question a lot, and I feel like I say something different every single time to somebody just because it's kind of hard to explain. But really, I would just say that kind of figuring out the client's needs and how to better run their business, right? And so my job is to basically break it down to them, how to use it, how to fit their needs so that to make their life easier, stuff like that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good straightforward way to say it.
Yeah.
And your parents, if somebody asked them hey, what does your daughter do? What would they say?
I think my mom more so thinks I manage accounts, which is kind of, sort of. Yeah. But the way she said it the other day was oh yeah, you give professional advice. And I was like, I guess kind of, sort of.
Consulting, yeah.
Yeah, they consulting at me or I'm consulting them, so yeah.
That's fair. And I think somebody is actually on there, we give expert advice on NetSuite is actually what one of our go-to sayings is.
So she's pretty spot on.
What gets you up and coming to work in the morning aside from a paycheck?
Definitely the environment of the office, the people in general. I was actually explaining this the other day to somebody where, in other jobs that I've had, at least, people are always like, I can't wait for Friday, or man, it's barely Tuesday. And I've never even heard that from a single person at TVG. Everyone's just always so encouraging, motivating, positive to be at work. I would rather, so we do have a hybrid, work schedule. We can work from home or be in the office, and I actually prefer to be in the office just because it makes me feel more productive, more uplifted, and just being surrounded by everybody who works really hard and enjoys what they do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Office is a fun place to be.
It really is. And like just the office is super cool. It feels very comfortable. You can work from the bar, from the couch, from your desk,
So casual.
outside. Yeah, it's just like super nice.
Take advantage of that all the time.
Yeah.
Sit on a beanbag and stuff. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, obviously, when you were growing up, you didn't write down that you wanted to be a consultant, did you?
No, I did not. I actually changed my major like 1,000 times while I was in college. But the one that I really wanted to do for a while was interior design. I lived in a house that had 4 bedrooms, and I lived in all 3 of them, minus like the master. I just get super bored with like my room, and so I was like constantly changing the color of the walls, like changing the bed size and like rearranging everything, and then I lived in every other room in the house. I don't know, my parents allowed it, so I was just like, cool, like they let me live in every room in the house. And then I think at one point I painted all 3 of them turquoise.
Really?
Yeah. I just like loved that color.
Nice, relaxing color.
Yeah.
Frantic.
And I just changed like the bedding and stuff like that everywhere else.
Well, that's definitely a unique answer. We, like I said, mostly get athletes in medicine. So, do you have a favorite? I mean, it's kind of unfair. You haven't been here too long now. Anything lately that we've done that you like? You did the dip contest.
Yeah, I liked the dip contest. It was fun. But I really enjoy like the new hire happy hours, just because I think it gives everyone an opportunity to kind of like be relaxed and step away from work and kind of gather around as coworkers, friends, and get to know each other on a more like intimate setting. And so whether it's at the office or if we go to like Vic's or Katy Trail, it's always a good time just to like unwind with your team.
I love that too. And we had missed it for a while with the pandemic, and I really enjoy having that back.
Exactly.
I got a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
Second to last, what do you wish people knew about you? Like, is there something you enjoy doing when you're not at work?
Something I wish. So it's funny because when we talk about like being an introvert, extrovert, I mean, everyone would immediately say, oh, no, you're an extrovert, you're super outgoing, super talkative. And that's true.
Yeah.
But I like to say I learned like a social introvert, which is like you're extroverted, but there comes to a point where it's like, I have to kind of like wind down, recharge,
Totally get it.
and like take a step back. And so, yeah, I like to say I'm a social introvert. Same with like, I love live music. So I love going to music festivals and like traveling. Like I went to ACL in Austin for 4 years in a row before the pandemic hit, but you'll never find me in the front of the crowd. Like I'm like,
In the back, just vibing?
yeah, exactly. Just like dancing by myself. Like I don't want to be surrounded, like super crowded and stuff like that.
The same way. The exact same way. I think a lot of social people would say that they just like exude so much energy, they need time to like just bring it all back.
Exactly.
Recharge.
Yes.
All right, I got one last question for you. It's
Okay.
going to be just a random one.
Sure.
Let's go ahead and what would your last meal be if the world was ending tomorrow?
Probably something breakfast-wise made by my mom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like anything specific come to mind?
Just like migas, which is like eggs and
yeah.
ripped up tortilla and salsa. Honestly, I can't eat any other eggs other than like both my parents. But both my parents are really good cooks. But like restaurant eggs are horrible.
Oh.
I can't. And so yeah, it's like they ruined eggs for me. They just make them so bomb. So yeah.
That is. I'm telling you, we have to have a potluck day, and everyone just brings in like their favorite food because I want to try your mom's migas now.
Yeah,
So,
it just reminds me of like growing up. We would wake up like Saturday mornings. You know, I was a kid, no work, no school or anything, and like we would wake up, like have a cup of coffee, like as a family. Somebody would make breakfast, and then just like have the rest of Saturday to relax. So that's what it reminds me of.
I love that. Well, Alex, thank you so much
Yeah.
for joining us today. I know when I first asked you, you had training and modules and all these different things to do, so I'm glad that we could get you out here and make it
Absolutely.
happen.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Leadership Talk Show. I'm Johnny Zielinski. You can find out more about what we do at thevested.com, or you can see more episodes of The Leadership by going to YouTube and searching The Leadership Talk Show or The Vested Group. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.